Shut it! Oh, I am CCling it. I'm CCling all over the world. Thanks, Tack.
Close one. Ah. It's about time.
And a big welcome home to my favorite son. I made some chicken, but I also heated up some German bratwurst, flown in special today. Just
I had a pretty interesting day today.
Sorry I'm late. Honest to God, a dragon was attacking Hong Kong. I stopped it.
Ooh, a dragon, nice. Mark was getting ready to tell us how interesting his day was.
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Threw a
Are you sure?
pretty sure. Threw a
Are you sure?
trash bag into space
You sure?
at work.
Are you sure? Oh, that's great. Son, just great. If you're up for it, I'll make some time tomorrow for training.
This is so exciting.
Are you sure? 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 Are you sure?
CCling it. I'm CCling all over the world. Thanks, Tack.